yesterday we were talking about when Eileen was in Rochester, and she was going through training, and you were telling me about her job there, and also about when you went to her graduation. You said you and your mom and dad went.
Yeah, Eileen took her nurse's training at St. Joseph's Hospital.
No, you said St. Mary's.
St. Mary's, in Rochester, Minnesota. It was run by the Franciscan sisters. They owned it, in fact. She spent 3 years there. And
in the training.
Training. Back then, you could get your degree in 3 years because they didn't, I think they just got a couple weeks vacation in the whole, and they had to stay there.
So, like in dormitories, or? No, you said they had nice people places.
I wouldn't call them dormitories. Well, maybe. No, they were flat buildings. They weren't big buildings, and they had nice rooms. And I remember Eileen's roommate was from southern Minnesota, too.
Oh.
Okay, and you took all of your training there. It wasn't like now where they go to different places.
Yeah, you said that they probably did a lot of it in the hospital.
Oh, yeah, they did it right there.
Were you in college, I guess, when she would have been there?
No, I was finished by the time, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was in Oregon when she was going, yeah. No, I was out of college by the time she was in nurse's training. Because she after she got out of high school, she worked at the egg plant.
Yeah.
So that kind of set her.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I think
that was for 1.5 years or something.
Something like that. I'm not really sure.
And that's where your
cousins, 2 cousins came up from Iowa and worked with her. And
was that Kathleen?
No, it's on my dad's side.
Your dad's side.
Helen Ewan would be the one that you'd recognize.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they came up and stayed. Well, they stayed with Mom and Dad for a while, and then they got an apartment with Aunt Kit.
Oh, I see.
But anyway.
But that was for the war, kind of.
Oh, yeah. Dried eggs.
Yeah.
A plant that made dried eggs. Yeah. Terrible smelling if you drove by there, really. Yeah. But anyway.
What did they have to do? I don't even understand what you do.
They had some kind of machinery where they dried them. It was a powder when you got done with it.
But she had to crack eggs?
But yes, that's what she did. She just stood. You had to check the eggs too.
Oh, I see.
Over a light or something, and then you cracked them.
Holy cow!
Yeah,
all day
you
long.
just did that all day long. I guess they probably had breaks. I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
wow.
But anyway.
It's a lot of eggs.
But then she went into nurses training. And Rochester isn't that far from Marshall. I mean, it's still within the state, both southern Minnesota. And I think she was really worried. She was afraid she wasn't going to be able to make it.
Oh.
She was a pretty good student in high school, but I guess she just feared that she couldn't make it. Even when she was in training, she said she used to go over at the chapel at night and pray that she would make it. Yeah. And yet, when she graduated here, she got the award for being the best in surgery, which was really something.
And that was probably considered the hardest field.
Yeah, well, yeah, because, I mean, I'm sure it was very hard for a lot of students, yeah, but it was, she just took to it. It was a thing that she was good at. And when she graduated after the 3 years, yeah, Mom and Dad and I remember going over to graduation and her getting this award, and we were so proud of her.
So you came back from
I was home. I was back from Oregon by
Oh, I
that
see.
time. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
because I only stayed out there for a year.
I see.
Um, and I don't know what I did next.
Well, you're probably waiting for Eileen to graduate.
Well, yes, I was. And then she went to work right away at the
same hospital?
St. Joe's Hospital.
And no, St. Mary's.
St.
So tell me again how big, because you said it sounded huge. How many surgical rooms did it have?
I think 11 or 12 at that time. I can't imagine what it's like now.
That's huge.
And each room had a surgeon. That was his room.
Mm.
And I don't remember the number of the one Eileen was in, but she worked for one specific surgeon.
I see.
She didn't work for anybody else.
So what kind of surgeries did he do?
I think it was general.
He'd do
I don't.
anything?
Yeah, I think it was just general surgery.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. But you said that she was the head nurse for her.
Well, that's what
Or
you
room,
are.
whatever.
You are. You. That's your room, along with the doctor. You're the head nurse. Yes.
So
I mean, there's other nurses work with you.
yeah,
But she was the head nurse,
I see.
and I'm sure in all surgeries there's some very tense moments.
Sure.
But she said whenever the rest of the people would get rattled, that she became calmer.
Mm.
And I guess that's what kind of helped her get through with other parts of her life too. That she became calmer. She didn't get rattled. I don't know if I could do that or not.
I don't think
I'd probably get rattled.
Yeah, I think I get. That's what I do.
Yeah.
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 So then, how long did she work there? You didn't live with her there?
Oh yeah.
Oh, so you got a job there?
Yeah, I got a job there too. I worked at St. Mary's too in the lab.
So tell me
It
what
was
you
my
had.
job. I had a friend working for the Mayo Clinic, Isabel Summers,
Right.
and I didn't know where I wanted to go. I didn't want to teach. That wasn't my field.
Mm-hmm.
And so she called me up and she said they're hiring at the Mayo Clinic for lab technicians. So she said, "Come on down here, and I think you can get a job," which is what I did.
Mm-hmm.
And the Mayo Clinic hired you for lab work,
Okay.
but they would assign you to the hospitals that they
Oh,
felt you were needed.
I see.
And so that I was lucky enough
'Cause
to
you
be
coulda went to
placed
the other
in
one.
St. Mary's, yeah. And because Eileen was working there too, it was really nice for the two of us. And we roomed at this place. Wasn't far from the hospital. It was a big old, it was 3 stories, but we were on the second.
Because I think most people today would think that would be an apartment, but you said that wasn't because they didn't have
No, you're
apartments.
no. Well, we just lived there. We had to eat at the hospital or at restaurants. There wasn't even any place
So
we
all
could
you
eat.
had was a bedroom,
Right.
and then you had to use the bathroom down the hall or something?
Yeah, it wasn't in your room. It wasn't.
So how many boarders were there?
There was 3 stories in this building.
Oh, wow.
The first story, the lady and her daughter lived there.
Oh,
And then the next story, there wasn't many people living in this. It was just like a house with a few people living in it.
oh.
There was Eileen and I, and there was another nurse. There was 2 more nurses.
Mm.
So it was,
So they had a lot of empty rooms.
well, it was a big house. It was a tall house, but it wasn't a big house.
Oh.
It didn't have a lot of rooms.
I see.
It was probably a house that's still there. It looked like it was built so well that it was.
Mm.
I think it was brick and whatever,
Oh,
but it
wow.
was really a big old building.
Mm. So then the lady and did they cook or you had to eat out, you said?
You either had to eat at the hospital, which you could do if you were there at mealtime, if you were working there at mealtime,
I see.
or
But
you
yeah.
had to eat out.
But you had to go pay for your food at
Not at the
mealtime?
hospital.
Oh,
you
not at the
didn't.
hospital. Oh.
But this is when we ate. There was a little restaurant across from the hospital, and this is when it was a couple that had this little restaurant, and they were the ones that had dubbed us the pork girl and the beef girl.
Mm.
They had really good meals.
So a lot of the people from the hospital ate there, maybe.
It was kind of expensive, so I think about the only persons eating there were probably doctors.
Oh. So you didn't go there all the time?
Oh, no.
Just once in a while? Mm.
Yeah. And
So how was the food at the hospital?
it was okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think now, because
So how far was where you lived from the hospital?
not very far, a few blocks.
You had to walk there. Mm-hmm. So your schedules were different, though, weren't they?
Oh, yeah. Our schedules weren't the same at all.
So if they called Eileen in the middle of the night, then would she get the day off, or how'd that work?
I don't remember how that worked. But I remember getting those calls.
So you didn't have a phone in your room, though?
Yes, we did.
Oh,
She
you
had to have one.
Oh, she had to have a phone.
She had to have one.
For her work.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
So you and she shared a room.
Oh, yeah. Big bed and big furniture, big everything.
I see.
You know, it was a big old house, so it had big everything.
I see. Lots of room. So how much did that cost? Do you remember?
I have no idea.
Be funny to know.
I guess we were able to save a little bit, but I have no idea what kind of a salary we got. No.
Mm.
And then after, I think we lived together there for a couple of years, and then we decided to go to California. Eileen still, till her last day, said I was the cause of it. Said she didn't want to go, so I don't know. Maybe it was. But anyway, we went. There was another girl working with me in the lab.
Oh.
And she was from Canada, I think. But she had
wow.
worked on the West Coast before.
I see.
And she wanted to go back out, and she was going to go back out. And so she offered for us to go with her.
Oh.
She had a car.
Oh, wow.
And so she drove most of the way. Eileen drove some out to California, to Long Beach.
That's where she was going.
Yeah.
I see.
I know she wasn't going there, but she was willing to take us there. I think she was going to Santa Barbara.
But you went there because of Gert and Mark.
Yes.
I see.
Yes. You getting another package?
I guess not. I don't know if that car worked. Well, so that's how you got there.
Yeah.
How long did it take you? Do you remember?
I don't know. It took a while. And I don't remember
Did you stay
much.
at motels?
I don't. Yeah, well, I guess. Yeah, because we were going through kind of bigger cities, and so I think,
see.
yeah.
So you went through Salt Lake and all of that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And then I was trying to think. I guess we stayed with Gert and March for a little while, but not too long.
Hmm.
And then we asked Gert to get us a place before we even got there.
Oh.
But of course she didn't do it.
Oh, I see.
But I can remember the first place we got. I guess it had a bed and some furniture, but it didn't have any pillows or
Oh, dear.
pillowcases. I think we had to go out and buy some.
Oh, dear.
It was after the war or during the war. Let's see. I'd have to think of what date it was, but it was really hard to get stuff.
Oh.
To get clothing for yourself or get. I know we got uniforms, but I think those.
From the hospital?
No, you could buy them at a store that
Oh.
had them, but I think it was
see.
because
Of the
they were
hospital.
because you were a nurse or whatever.
I
But it
see.
was really hard to get stuff. It was hard to get food. It was hard.
Did you have a kitchen?
Let's see. I think we had to eat out again. I don't think there was any kitchen. I think it was just a bedroom.
So then you had to go find work, I guess.
Yes.
Mm.
And Eileen went first. And she got the job. And she come back and said, well, I heard they need lab people.
Oh, that's good.
So I was lucky. Yeah.
That's good.
But it was really old hospital. I guess it was a good hospital. Today, I think it's called Long Beach Community or something, but it's really...
Looks much different.
Well, yes, of course, it's a brand new one, but it is what Long Beach, where we worked, was.
Oh.
It's a different location.
Oh, different location.
Yeah.
But the same name.
Yeah.
I see.
And the two people that were in charge of the lab were husband and wife. I don't know what nationality they were, but they were. He would tolerate a lot of things. She wouldn't tolerate anything. Kind of funny.
So, how many lab techs were there?
I would say probably about 10.
Wow. So that
It was a pretty big hospital.
probably had someone there all night, huh? No?
Yes. I think depending on what your specialty was. No, I don't think any lab people had to stay overnight.
Oh. Maybe they could.
I guess there were some of us on call. I never got called, I don't think. If I did, I don't remember.
Did you have to draw blood?
Oh, yeah. That's mainly what I did.
Oh.
And then you had to study it
Yeah.
under the microscope and all of that, yeah. Yeah, that mainly hematology is the study of blood, and that's mainly what I did.
So you had to go to the patient's rooms?
Oh, yeah.
Oh. So you had one of those like little things like bringing around with you like they have now?
Mm-hmm.
Is that, now they have those cool things they can just put it right into the, what do you call it, into the tubes.
Yeah, it wasn't like that, no.
How did you get it in there? You had it in a syringe.
Syringe and you...
And then you put it in there.
Yeah.
Ah, I see. Wow. That sounds like work. To keep all that straight and clean. And then you said Eileen had to clean all her instruments.
After work, I mean, I worked certain hours,
Uh-huh.
but Eileen they had to work until all their work was done and cleaning their instruments and everything else. And I can't remember the name of the nun that was in charge of seeing that all the things were done, or in charge of all the
Oh, all those.
But anyway, I remember I used to go up and waiting for her. I could be there. They didn't chase me out or anything, so I could watch her clean the stuff.
I see.
And then they'd put them in. What's the machine you put them into?
An autoclave.
Yeah.
That sanitizes them or something, right? Heats them up.
And then we'd go home and go over to have dinner at this cute little place.
How many surgical suites did they have there? Because the other one had like 12 or something.
We're working at the same place.
No, in Rochester there were like 12.
Where do you think we are now? Oh, you think we're in Long Beach?
I think
Okay.
you're in Long Beach.
I don't remember much about the work in.
But it wasn't as big as the other one, was it?
No.
Yeah. 12 seems
I
like
don't
huge.
remember. I don't remember much about it.
Is that where you saw? You said one time you got to watch Eileen at work in surgery?
No, that would have been in Rochester.
That was in Rochester.
Because in Long Beach they didn't have the whatever it's called.
Yeah,
It was not a teaching place.
I see. So this is the hospital where Eileen took care of the famous people?
No, it was later
No,
when she
that's
was
later.
working.
And then
When she went back, let's see, she worked there
where did she get the hepatitis? You told me yesterday and I've already
in
forgotten.
Rochester.
She got that first year when you were together?
No, she went back to Rochester later. From Long Beach, she went back to Rochester, thinking it would be the same as when she worked there.
Oh, uh-huh.
And that's when she got the hepatitis.
Oh,
she
when she
worked
went
there.
back.
She worked. I couldn't
see.
tell you how long, but that's when she got the hepatitis.
So she left you because you were getting married or something?
Well, I gotta sort this story out. I left her. She didn't leave me because she was still working in Long Beach when I got married.
I see.
And then after that, that's when she left.
I see.
I don't know how long it was.
Uh-huh.
And she went back to Rochester. Well, first of all, she came up. I got married, and then when I was expecting Mike, she came up to
Right.
Seattle, and 3 other nurses came with her. I can remember
They were
that.
going to live there?
No, just visit.
Oh, just to
because
see.
they were going to go back to Rochester too.
Oh, I see.
So she went back to Rochester, but of course it was not like when she was there before. I don't think. Well, I've heard people say that it's never the same. So but it's too bad it wasn't the same.
Yeah. She really liked it there.
Oh yeah, people liked her. But that's the way it is. So she stayed with me. The other girls went on to Rochester, but she stayed with me for a couple of weeks after Mike was born.
Oh. Then how'd you get back to Rochester? Train?
No, this is when she was coming.
I'm confused.
I think she was coming back from Rochester.
Oh, okay. When Mike was born.
Yeah.
I remember the story about she took you on a ride.
Before the day that he was born, yeah. I said, go over all the bumps you can find.
Did she have a car by that time?
No, she was using our car. She didn't have a car.
Oh, I see.
She was using our car. Trying to get the story straight in my mind, because after that, she went back to Long Beach. And then she didn't really leave after that. She worked in...
The same hospital?
Well, no. She didn't... Maybe she went back to Long Beach, but then she worked over... Where she saw... What was the hospital? Do you remember where Lawrence Welk was in, that she worked there?
No, I don't know. I don't remember that name.
If I heard the name of the town, I would remember. But anyway, then she got a job working anyway in this hospital where these pretty famous people were, like Lawrence Welk. It was, at that time, it was known as where all the big kind of famous people would go if they needed surgery or
I
something.
see.
You hear about it today, but it's not the hospital it was back then. And that's, I think that's, no, I was going to say Mary Jane. No, she met Mary Jane in Rochester.
Oh.
But I think Mary Jane was one of the girls that was with her when they came
went to Seattle.
yeah, and then went on to.
So she was from the Midwest too?
She's from Chicago, as I remember, yeah.
But she went to school in Rochester?
No, she went to school in Chicago, someplace. I can't remember what the name of the place was. No, she didn't go to school there.
So how did she meet Eileen?
Eileen was still there when she came. She came after.
So Mary Jane worked in Rochester with her.
Yeah.
I see.
I think when Eileen had the hepatitis, she was working there, if I remember correctly.
Oh, I see.
And I know she came out to California with Eileen. There was 2 other girls. I'm sure there was 4 altogether.
I see.
And this one girl had a car. Nobody else had a car. Very few people had a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. How about maybe the last thing I can remember was about what you had to wear and what Eileen would have had to wear. You said the silk stockings even you had to, or maybe Eileen had to wear the white stockings or something.
Yeah, we both had to wear white uniforms. Eileen had to wear the cap, the white, which was distinctive of the hospital that you graduated from. Every hospital had a different, or a different nursing school,
right.
I should say, but had a different style of hat. Cap.
Yeah,
I think they were called cap.
That.
I think they were called caps because when you first started your nurses training, the first thing was called the capping.
Oh, I see.
Oh, yeah. And then she had to wear white socks and shoes. I didn't have to wear the socks, but I had to wear the white. But anyway, a laundry we had a laundry do all of our laundry.
Oh,
So at this house we lived in had a big porch out in front. It was closed in though. But the laundry would pick up our clothes every week and then bring them back.
Leave them there?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. And if you can imagine in a town with as many nurses and doctors and so on as Rochester, they did a good business.
I see. That's a lot of uniforms, huh?
Yeah.
But they kept it straight, it sounds like.
Yeah, never lost it. I don't know. Well, maybe they did. I don't know. We never lost it anyway.
Did you have any snowstorms that you remember when you were there?
I remember some snow, but not snowstorms. I remember being kind of icy a lot of times, the sidewalks, that you had to really be careful so you didn't fall down. They're coming slowly, one by one, and staying a while, and then they leave.
I guess
Is that long a story? Is that a long enough story?
Sure. I don't know what else to ask. Oh, I see. I didn't unlock it.